You guys, so Arsenal have just issued Real Madrid a generational beatdown in the Champions League at the Emirates Stadium, while Inter Milan silenced the crowd at the Allianz Arena, and we need to what? We need to talk about it. But first, if you haven't seen my face and you don't know who I am, hi guys, welcome and welcome back to the channel. I am Just Max, and on this channel we talk about football from La Liga to the Prem and of course the UEFA Champions League. And it's starting to get serious in the UEFA Champions League. It's down to the business end of the season, and we just have to talk about it because the first leg of the quarterfinals have been played. We start with our Arsenal and Real Madrid, and let me tell you this, prior to the game, I made a video on TikTok and I said, Arsenal, if you want to beat Real Madrid, I don't have much hope for you. But if you want to really beat Real Madrid in this UEFA Champions League, you have to go back and review the games where Real Madrid have lost to other Spanish oppositions. And you have to figure out why Real Madrid have lost those games, and your answer will be in that game. What I meant by this, and I've been on this hill, if you've been watching my channel long enough, you will know that I have said this time without number that Real Madrid does not have a defense, but somehow they keep getting away with it. They keep winning games despite having a shitty defense. When they played Manchester City, I made a video asking Manchester City, run at this Real Madrid defense. I want to see something. Manchester City, they did not attend to my request. They just fell flat notoriously. Real Madrid walked all over them in the Bernabeu. But today, Arsenal heard my message and they said, hold my beer, because this here was a generational beatdown. And what makes it even better was because I was texting my friend. My friend sent me a text message as we were watching the game. He said, are you watching the game? My friend is a Real Madrid fan, by the way. I said to him, yes, I am. I'm going to make a video about it, obviously. And then he was like, oh, sure. Just watch and see how we do. And so, of course, I'm like, cool, no problem. We start the game and everything is going so well for Arsenal, not even Real Madrid. Arsenal totally choked Real Madrid out of that game. Do you understand how crazy it is that Real Madrid had to resort to counter-attacking football? Real Madrid totally gave up the attack. They gave up the midfield. They were pressed back to their final third for much of this game. And I know it looks like 3-0 is a lot, but really it should have been 7-0, 8-0. It could have even been 9. Like, that is how much Thibaut Courtois had to come up big for Real Madrid, especially in that first half. Arsenal kept on having chances upon chances upon chances that they spun. Bukayo Saka was just magnificent for Arsenal. The way he was putting in crosses, there were 2 sumptuous crosses that he put in that first half that I thought, listen to me, if somebody in this Arsenal team were having even a modicum of an attacking mindset, this should have been 2-0 already. But they did not do that. They kept on, spawning those chances. Even watching that game, let me tell you, I said it was only a matter of time. I could feel it. You know how there are some games that you would be watching and you would think, we're gonna lose this one, or we're gonna win this one, or this team is gonna, like, there's some games like that, right? This was not that game. This game, I had confidence in the way Arsenal was playing. I knew that it was only a matter of time before they get their end result, because Real Madrid offered nothing. When I tell you nothing, they offered nothing. Vini did not come to play, neither did Mbappe, neither did Federico Valverde, and definitely not Bellingham. They were just reduced to nothing. Arsenal pressed them back. It was as if Real Madrid suddenly became Getafe and they were waiting for that opportunity to counter press. In the second half, the story will be different. And let me tell you, when I say Declan Rice, I don't know what he had in that locker room in the second half. I don't know what Mikel Arteta said to Declan Rice in that locker room. But boy came out as the mini version of David Beckham. Let me tell you, this is when I say to you that whereas Arsenal heard my message, Real Madrid totally ignored the scouting report on Arsenal, because it only takes one to know that Arsenal are being called set piece FC for a reason. This season, they have had the highest goals from set piece. It's literally what they do. They can score goals from corners. They can score goals from free kicks. It's what they do. That's how they score their goals. Like, just a little bit of a research will give you that bit of information. But what did Real Madrid do? They kept on putting themselves in position where Arsenal are going to have set pieces. They gave out a set piece, and guess who steps up? Declan Rice. And listen, I do not have so much faith in Arsenal players. I don't always. I'm going to be honest with you and be like, I'm not one of those people that came out here and be like, Arsenal, da, da, da. I don't know. I don't know that Declan Rice can have the same performance that he did today, tomorrow. I don't know that he can. But what I know for certain, one thing I know for sure, the spirit of David Beckham, the spirit of Roberto Carlos, it descended heavily on Declan Rice. And when that man hit that ball and bent that shit like Beckham, there was no amount of brilliance that Thibaut Courtois could muster to keep that from whistling past him and into the net. It was glorious. Let me tell you, it was glorious. And I had to watch that again, and it was beautiful. And now you will think that Real Madrid would learn their lesson and recognize that they're playing against set piece FC and not give away set pieces in dangerous positions. You would think that, but no. They did not learn their lesson because they gave away another set piece. And Declan Rice said, if it worked the first time, why not do it again? Why not just copy, paste, repeat? And that's exactly what he did, because the second goal was just a carbon copy version of the first. Another beautifully bended free kick. And I said, man, Arsenal are cooking. They are really cooking. And am I really surprised? Absolutely not. Mikel Merino's goal was just the icing on the cake, but literally it was already dead when Arsenal scored that first goal. Let me tell you, my friend, the one who we were texting, he sent me a text immediately. Mikel Merino scored, and he's like, I'm going to bed. Good night, I'll talk to you later. That's how much heartbreak this match cost. Man could not bear it. Like, he's like, I'm done. I'm done. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, am I surprised? I'm not really. I'm really not surprised. Because if you asked me, Real Madrid should not even be in the quarterfinal to begin with, but they're here, okay, no problem. But they have had an abysmal season. They have not been good. I've said it all season. Real Madrid cannot defend counters. Real Madrid cannot defend set pieces. Real Madrid does not have a defense, but somehow they keep pulling out the stops. They just keep doing it, and they keep getting away with it. And I feel so vindicated right now that somebody finally proved me right. This Real Madrid team, they did not have a defense. Now, mind you, as I say, I have to call it back a little bit. As I say that Real Madrid doesn't have a defense, please note that this was one of the best defensive performances Real Madrid have done this season. That should tell you a lot, in my opinion, actually. And honestly, I am not shocked. I am not surprised that they lost. I did have hope that Arsenal were going to be able to pull it out, but at the same time, I did not dare to dream. Now, Arsenal and Real Madrid will go back to the Santiago Bernabeu with an emphatic 3-0 lead. And now a lot of Real Madrid fans will be having the hope that, they are going to be able to put together a remontada, which is something that they're very quite well known for. They might very well do it, but I would say history is very much on Arsenal's side. Real Madrid have played Arsenal in once at the Santiago Bernabeu, and Arsenal came out the winner on that occasion. I don't know if Real Madrid can do it. I really don't. If Arsenal play the way they play today, next week, it's over. It's really over for Real Madrid. It's done. No coming back. But anyway, we move on to Inter Milan, and let me tell you, when I saw the bracket and I saw that Inter Milan qualified for the quarterfinals and they were going to play Bayern Munich, everybody had written off Inter Milan and, had Bayern Munich advancing to the quarterfinals and possibly playing Barcelona. I am a Barcelona fan, and on this channel, it's always going to be Vizca Barca. But I will not lie to you that I was one of the few people that felt like Inter Milan are quite literally playing very good football this season. They are on a resurgence. If you don't pay attention to the Serie A, you might not be able to understand how good Inter Milan are this season. And I was quite literally saying that I would much rather play Bayern Munich than play Inter Milan in the semi-finals should we get there, because Inter Milan are just that team. They have that Italian mindset about them. They just playing really good football. They can defend. They're not Real Madrid. They actually know how to defend. They know how to attack, and they just know how to win games. That's how they come through the UEFA Champions League so far. This is why they are currently topping the Serie A right now and going into this quarterfinal match against Bayern Munich. Yes, it was at the Allianz Arena. Yes, Bayern Munich had the home advantage, but Bayern Munich are not the Bayern Munich that they used to be. Bayern Munich this season barely came through against Celtic, so it was always a big ask for them to come up against a very, very good team in Inter Miami. Inter Milan, not Inter Miami. I don't know why. Well, it's the Inter anyway. Inter Milan. And honestly, that goal from Lautaro Martinez, the way that they were able to change a defense to attack, and it was how swiftly, how quick it was, that no look back pass to Lautaro Martinez, and the way he calmly took that ball, slots it past the goalkeeper. Amazing stuff. And for a brief minute there, I mean, it seemed like all was well when Thomas Muller pulled back a goal for Bayern Munich in the 85th minute. Thomas Muller, who has, by the way, had a glorious career for Bayern Munich, will be leaving the club at the end of the season. You would have thought this was it. They're going to go. No, Inter Milan are just that team. And barely 2 minutes later, they ended up getting another goal, and it was just as good. Listen, what can I say about this team? They just know how to win. And listen, if winning is the game, Inter Milan is going to be there. Barcelona will play Dortmund tomorrow. I am a little bit nervous because that is going to be a very, very big game. I will be back here to talk about that game. I'm trying to take my club, one game at a time, because guess what? Anything can happen. But if Barcelona were to come through against Dortmund and go to the semi-finals, Inter Milan are a very, very difficult team. Do not underlook this team. They are cooking this season for a reason. I think they're one of the few clubs that are still in for a treble. They're still on for a trouble this season, and that should tell you about this team. Anyway, this is day 1 of UEFA Champions League quarterfinal. I'll see you in day 2. Alright, you guys, welcome back to day 2 of the UEFA Champions League. Barcelona have just beat Borussia Dortmund 4-0 at the Montjuic, while PSG came away 3-1 winners at the Parc des Princes, and we need to talk about it. First of all, with Barcelona, I am so excited about what we saw in this performance against Borussia Dortmund. I only wanted us to be able to take away a very good lead into the second leg of the Champions League quarterfinals, because I knew we were playing at home and we would have to go to Germany next week to play that final game. And if you've ever watched a game or a Borussia Dortmund game, you would know that the atmosphere in their home is not for the faint of heart. So it's always going to be intense. It's always going to be a challenge. So we really needed to take advantage of the home advantage that we had today to make a big statement and to put ourselves in a very good position to be able to make it to the semi-finals of the Champions League, and we've done just that. Hansi Flick started out by bringing back Inigo Martinez into the lineup, and I love that because you see, one of the things that Inigo Martinez has been able to do this season was that he's become the leader of the Barcelona team, especially within that backline. Pairing him with Pau Kubasi, they've already struck up a very, very good relationship that has proven to be very fruitful this season for Barcelona. So I loved it when I saw them back. Another person that came into the starting lineup was Frankie de Jong. If you've been watching my videos of late for Barcelona, you would realize that Frankie de Jong has really been humming and buzzing for Barcelona. Like, he couldn't have found his form at a much better time. So to have him in that starting lineup was amazing. It's exactly what we needed. And so from the get-go, I was so excited the way Barcelona came out. They looked good. Yes, the first half wasn't the most exciting, but there's still some things that I saw in that first half that gave me confidence that we were going to win. And here is why. One of the things was Barcelona's ball recovery. One of the ways that Barcelona were able to choke out Dortmund in that first half was the way they were able to press them. And I have to say, I heard someone say over the weekend that Barcelona has the most ridiculous press in Europe, and it's not a joke. The way Barcelona are able to recover the ball immediately they lose it, it puts the opposing players on such a very huge pressure that they're not able to think very quickly about what they want to do with the ball, even when they get the ball, because immediately you get the ball, you have like 3 players on you, and you have to be very, very quick to think about what you want to do. So that is one of the things that Barcelona did today. And if you watch that game, or you go back to watch the replays of those games, you will see that Barcelona's press had Dortmund spilling the balls in dangerous places. They had just kept on being all out of sort. They just never really settled, and so that gave me a very good sign that Barcelona actually were going to be okay in this game, because Dortmund couldn't string 2 passes together. Another thing that gave me full confidence watching this game that Barcelona were going to be okay was when I saw that Lamine Yamal is humming and buzzing in this game. Lamine Yamal had that flair about him. If you watch Barcelona play very good when Lamine Yamal plays good. We did not win over the weekend. We had a draw against Real Betis, but ironically, Lamine Yamal did not have a very good game in that match. So to come and look at this and see Lamine Yamal coming into this game, humming and buzzing, having that style, the flair, doing the dribbles and all of that, and being able to get away from his man, putting in good crosses, leading the counter attack from the left when the opportunity was there. I knew that it was only a matter of time. Another player that impressed me was Fermin Lopez. Remember how I talk about Fermin Lopez? Fermin Lopez is like a jack in the box, like a electric live wire that you just cannot leave anyhow, because if you leave him, he's just going to sting you. And when I saw him humming and buzzing in that first half, I knew that it was only a matter of time before this Dortmund defense was going to break. Now I have to talk about the goal. Barcelona did end up scoring in the first half through, I want to say Rafinha, but honestly it's just an unfortunate situation that goal wasn't given to Pau Kubasi, because he did all the hard work. The ball was already going to the net anywho, but Rafinha stuck out his foot and then tapped it in for the goal. In that moment, I'm not going to lie, it was checked for offside, because Rafinha was kind of very tight. So I was very, very nervous, because we really needed a goal for all the good work, or for all the concepts of good works that we were doing in that first half. We needed a goal to solidify everything that we've been doing so far. And so when the goal was given as a good goal, I was very, very excited, because that meant we were able to take in a lead into halftime. Now let's not lie, Dortmund did have chances themselves, because one thing about Barcelona, with the way we play, the way we press, the way we our high line situation, if a good team comes upon us, they're always going to have an opportunity to run at our defense. But again, another player that I have to highlight here is Szczesny. Szczesny was very good in goal. Another clean sheet for him today. What an amazing performance. Now, I never really thought that I would be sitting here talking about making a video about Szczesny is a really good goalkeeper. I had admittedly once made a video talking about I never want to see Szczesny in Barcelona's goalkeeping ever again, because of that whole debacle he had the first time that we played Benfica. But now to think that 20 games later he's still unbeaten, and he's kept multiple clean sheets, and he's really at the wheel of what we are able to do this season, especially with the comeback in La Liga and now being one leg in the semi-finals. I think it was Piqué who said a few years ago that there's nothing like having the confidence of knowing that you have a good goalkeeper behind you, so that no matter how high Barcelona's high line is, knowing that you have a shot stopper who is able to make those saves when and if they are needed is amazing. So Szczesny today also had to come up big for Barcelona. Not all the time, but every time that he was needed. So that was another good performance from Szczesny. When I look at the second half, the way Barcelona played, I knew going into the halftime that Hansi Flick was not happy. When you could see when the cameras were panning over to Hansi Flick, is the standard that we have to think that we were winning 1-0 going into the half with the lead, but Hansi Flick was clearly fuming, and whatever he said to them in that dressing room at halftime, it clearly translated, because not 2 minutes into the second half, Robert Lewandowski has already scored a goal very quick into the second half, and then he doubles it very soon. Not soon afterwards, again, Fermin Lopez was involved in that second goal, which I think is my favorite goal from today. Well, second goal for Robert Lewandowski, but third goal in general. It was my favorite goal today because the way that we were able to turn defense into attack, break, and of course it just shows you when you watch that game how people were focusing on Lamine Yamal, who is, by the way, commanding that level of respect as he should, because he's amazing. And then they leave Fermin Lopez alone, who has acres of space to run into and pick the right pass for Robert Lewandowski, who again had the awareness and space of mind to be able to place that ball very well. That is without a doubt one of my favorite goals today. Barcelona are having a very good season. When I remember that Gampa trophy that we played against Monaco, I'm going to be honest, I did not see this performance, what we've done this season, what Hansi Flick has been able to do with this team this season. I did not see it. I'm not going to lie to you. I would have been happy to just be in the midst, but now to actually be staking a claim, this is a season like no other, and it's all thanks to Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick has really come in and changed Barcelona. They will be going to Germany next week with a ginormous lead, and guess what this does? It means that they can relax and play their football. They can actually just, if they wanted to play a low block next week, they can. If they wanted to, they're not chasing anything. If the match ended 0-0, they would qualify. If it ended 2-2, they would qualify. If it ended 2-1, they'll still qualify. You know, it's really much more pressure for Dortmund to be able to answer to Barcelona. And do I see Dortmund scoring 4 unanswered goals? I don't see it. So either way, Barcelona are in a very, very good position. Congratulations to every member of the team, Hansi Flick and the boys. You guys are really, really having a season, and I cannot say that enough. But now we turn our attention to the Parc des Princes, where PSG hosted Aston Villa. Now, like many people thought, this was a game that PSG absolutely had to win. They looked like for a minute that it was not going to be. It looked shaky there for a minute, but I was not worried at all. I cannot even lie to you. I was not worried. I had full confidence that PSG were going to sneak this one, especially when you think about the fact that PSG are one of the only teams in Europe that have successfully wrapped up their league season. Like, they're already the winners of the Ligue 1. There's nothing like left. They're going to have like enough time to relax to be able to prepare for the Champions League. And not just that, it's also the fact that PSG are, outside of Barcelona, they are actually the second best team in Europe at the moment, according to me. They have been scoring goals for fun. They are playing on all cylinders. Luis Enrique absolutely has this team coming into their own at the right time, at the right moment. They're no longer, in my opinion, the team that was playing for Mbappe or Neymar before. This is a real team. No over-the-top superstars. Luis Enrique has just had them humming and buzzing for a while now. The fact that they were able to take out Liverpool in the last round, like, I was not worried about them. Aston Villa, by contrast, I felt like, yes, no one expected them to be here. Well, that is not to say that it was not possible, because Aston Villa had one of the winningest managers in Europe in Unai Emery, who, by the way, was, you know, what he did in the Europa Leagues, still very legendary. And of course, he was returning back to his old stomping ground, being a former manager of PSG himself. And the way he attacked this game, they took the lead through a counter attack. It was very well executed. And in the moment that people were like, oh, sit down and listen. But the way PSG were able to respond, they not only responded within 4 minutes, scored a very good goal of their own, but then ended up going to win this match in a very, very emphatic fashion. It has ended 3-1 for PSG. And honestly, if I were Aston Villa, I wouldn't feel too bad about it, because you do take a goal advantage going back home to your house. But if I'm being honest, I don't really see Aston Villa scoring 3 unanswered goals in England. I don't really see it. I really don't. But yeah, you know, no, I don't really see it. I don't see it. Do you see it? Do you see Aston Villa being able to win PSG 3-0 next week? I don't. No, I don't see it. It's probably over for Aston Villa at this stage. PSG in their bracket are looking like one of the toughest opponents left on that side. I will be interested to see who will be able to take them out, because they look good. I can't even lie. This is a very young, very exciting squad at the moment, and they have a very experienced manager in Luis Enrique, and they are playing their best football at the right time. But let me know what you thought about these matches. This has been the first leg of the UEFA Champions League quarter-final stages. I am so excited for my team Barcelona, who have just scored 4-0. The shocker of this whole thing was the way Arsenal beat Real Madrid yesterday. Let me know which of this game was your favorite. Comment what you thought about this week's UEFA Champions League matches. Let me know everything you think in the comments. But until next time, bye guys.